Live on a Thursday edition of the program. I am merely Bo. Gibbe is here as well.
Hola.
I do not think Bill Bender's on the Twisted Tea hotline. I like Bill a lot,
not.
but I don't think that. There you go. There you go. Gibbe is here. The great Brock is here. Dr. J is here as well. It is a sun-kissed Thursday, a schedule release reactionary.
Did
Thursday.
it rain at your place this morning?
Last night, hard. But this morning sprinkled a little, but it's sun-kissed now.
We were out checking things in preparation. We have a golf outing coming up, the annual Browns golf outing.
When's that?
Monday, June 2nd. Had a look.
2nd.
Coming up quickly on your schedule.
Will we be out there?
Yes.
I'm just putting it in my notes.
So we were out there doing some work.
Are we at Westwood?
What? Yeah. Yep, Westwood again.
All right. Go ahead.
So I leave my house in Olmsted Falls. It's probably a 20-minute drive because there's no highway driving and you got to go through and you're waiting behind school buses and everything else. It's sunny in Olmsted Falls. There's on my weather app, weather.com, rain ends by 8:15.
Okay.
My meeting's at 9:30.
Okay.
I get there at 9:20, and it looks like the wrath of God is coming. I don't have a jacket. I don't have anything. I'm like, I pull up the radar, and now all of a sudden,
now you know.
Here comes the mother of all thunderstorms.
Yeah.
Sweet. Luckily, I had a jacket in my golf bag.
Yeah.
In the trunk. So
you were at Westwood?
Yeah.
Was the pro shop open? Maybe you could have.
The pro shop was. By the way, new
pro shop
with new simulators and
they're ready to go.
Wait till you see the new setup.
Oh baby. Young Brock isn't aware of this, but this was like 3 or 4 years ago. We were broadcasting live out there on a Monday, and it was either hot or rainy. There was something. Oh, I know what it was. It was absurdly ill-fitted polos. And we were like,
yeah, that we end up having.
But there was some reason that I was going to buy gear.
It was chilly.
Is that what it was? I was looking for a quarter zip or something.
Because we had it in May. It was like the third weekend in May or something. Or third week
and
in
it was
May.
brisk.
And it was not great.
And I was trying to buy something on site because all I had was a polo and shorts.
An ill-fitted polo.
An ill-fitted polo and shorts. And so I was looking for a quarter zip from the pro shop. The pro shop was closed. We were discussing and lamenting the fact that the pro shop was closed and that I was willing to buy things at the pro shop. And one of the members then heard me saying this and then got on the pro.
Might have been the legendary Dan Tracy.
Why are you not open? They're there. It's the Browns golf outing. What are we doing? So then the pro came by. He was not pleased at all that he had to open, and then inevitably was fine. But that's where the pro shop conversation comes from. Is right.
Yes, exactly.
Did you get it in?
Stormed like crazy, and I guess we're supposed to have bad weather tonight again. But I think that's
really?
late night. I think it's overnight.
Mean,
literally, we were stuck like at the new starter shed because I was feeling like getting soaked.
Oh. All right, let's see what I got for you because I think AccuWeather won. It won the competition. That's not great. Severe weather potential, tornado.
Yeah, there you
What's
go.
the deal with that?
That's right. I'm in.
That's from it's a pretty big window from 1 p.m. to 7 a.m.
Oh God! So
it's a big window.
Changed it now. It was supposed to be like overnight, like after midnight.
Yeah, it's a big window. It looks like we're going to be pretty fine here. And then overnight, there will be a thunder shower overnight.
Yes.
And then tomorrow looks to be aces.
Yeah, but it's going to be
an evening thunder shower potentially on Friday night. And then did you see next week?
Not into any of it.
Like low 60s?
50, upper 50s? Yeah. Sucks.
That's brutal. I get to be I'm at the Pro Football Hall of Fame all weekend, Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, all weekend for lacrosse. Bootsy Friday night, Bootsy plays Friday night, Beamsy plays Saturday, 8 a.m. That's nice. And then NBC's on Sunday, so that's the way we go. All right, we got a schedule.
We do. So
obviously, there's a lot here. The thing that jumps out immediately is no primetime games for us. No Thursday night, no Monday night, Sunday night, obviously. You have one-off game. That's the London game. In other words, when you're the only one playing in a window, the only one we have there is the London game against the Vikings. That's the NFL Network game. That's it. It's a pretty even mix between Fox and CBS as your television broadcast partners. Kind of split pretty close to down the middle on that. It's really tough. It's really tough. I mean, when you have to play the NFC North, this is part of it. And so it's a very, very tough, ambitious schedule. I did the schedule game this morning with it, and I think you're anywhere. I can't imagine it being like at the worst. To me, feels like 6-11, and I think the high end of it, if all goes your way and you get good quarterback play, which maybe we'll get it out of Kenny, or maybe one of the young guys will step up. Maybe it'll be Flacco. Who knows? But it feels like Pickett's going to get the first opportunity there. Could I see him 9-8? That feels like the ceiling in what we have been described as a transition year for the franchise. But look, we're going to be better defensively than we were a year ago. We're going to be better offensively than we were a year ago. Those things are known. And then it just comes back down to that quarterback position, which is something we've been chasing for 25 years.
I think at this time of year, you can look at the schedule. I think probably a year ago at this time, we would have said we're going into Washington and we're going to bury the Commies.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not realizing the Commies would be a game away from the Super Bowl.
That always happens.
So I think maybe it ends up being a down year for the NFC North.
Could be.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what to think. I mean, the Squealers are in limbo with what they have from a quarterback standpoint. I think that you have the Bengals in week 1 at home, and Cincinnati, I don't remember the last time they won a season opening game. Remember, last year they lost to the Patriots at home.
Oh, yeah, and Burrow has trouble here.
After.
Yeah, Burrow has trouble here. I mean, historically he has. And so, yeah, I mean, opening with Cincinnati here.
I think you got to get that.
Well, all the pressure will be on Cincinnati because all they're going to hear about is what happened last year to them. So that'll be their entire focus. Will be, trying to erase the bad start because that loss to New England that you just talked about is what kept them out of the postseason, a postseason that nobody would have wanted to watch them play in. But you get a home opener. It's Cincinnati, a team you've had success against, and a team, quite honestly, that really struggles to block Myles Garrett. So I like that as an opener. I'd rather get Cincinnati in week 1. We close the season with them down in Cincinnati, so we bookend with the 2 Cincinnati games. That's fine, and I'd rather play Cincinnati right out of the gates. I don't have any problem with that at all.
Yeah. No, I'm fine with that. I mean, but you got right off the bat, you're dealing with 2 AFC North teams.
Well, in Baltimore, so just to go through it, so it'll be Cincinnati at home, and then we travel to Baltimore to play in week 2. Baltimore is in a primetime window in week 1, right? Aren't they Buffalo?
I believe so.
Here, I'll pull it up. Yeah, they're at the Bills. I mean, Baltimore's first 4 at Bills, us at home, hosting the Lions, and then at Kansas City. That's the first 4 for Baltimore. That's a big boy schedule for the Baltimore Ravens to go those 4 games. So
you're going to find out what you're made of right off the get-go.
Yes, absolutely.
Which is funny to me because I could see week 1 being that way, but normally the networks like to keep those big games when they know that a team's going to be good. They keep those for the second half of the year. Your Monday night footballs and your Thursday night footballs are usually reserved for we think you're going to be good, but in the event you're not, we're going to put you in September and October.
Yeah.
Any of your primetime games.
Yeah, we've been in that before where we'll be on Sunday Night Football or Monday Night Football early in the season and roll the dice that those games will still be relevant. But, yeah, so, I mean, I think you go Cincinnati at home at Baltimore. In my head, I think you get a split there. Right. That's great. And then you got 2 NFC Norths back-to-back. Green Bay here the 21st of September, and then the 28th you're at Detroit. At Detroit, obviously, will be tough. Green Bay here is an interesting one. When is the last time the Packers were here?
Might have been the year we went 0-16. Remember Rodgers got hurt, and they were playing a backup, and we were like, this is it. This is where we get our win. And I think we went to overtime and lost, if I remember correctly. I don't know. It's home away, and by the way, thanks schedule maker. Like, we're basically home on the 21st, and we're not home again until October 19th. Come on.
Jeez.
How about a little assist on that?
2017, you were right, Gibby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Aaron Rodgers got hurt. He had like a sprained ankle or something, and he wasn't going to play, and we were like, this is it. We're going to get the first win.
We lost in overtime.
That's right.
27-21.
Yep.
In December 10th of 2017. Your quarterback that day for the Green Bay Packers was one Brett Huntley.
That's right.
UCLA?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ours was Deshaun Kaiser. He actually was
Back
pretty
and
efficient.
forth.
He went 20 of 26.
We had like 14 chances to win.
He threw 2 picks.
We just could not get it done. And after that, we were like, I think 0-16 is a realistic possibility.
Yeah, indeed it was. So you go Packers on the 21st, then you're at Detroit, then the London game against Minnesota. Then instead of getting the bye coming out of that, you're at Pittsburgh the 12th. So you play in London on Sunday. You fly home after the game, get here.
That'll be fun.
At night, whenever.
7 in the morning, probably.
Well,
no,
it's 9 a.m. It'll be middle of the night. Like you're that game's just stay on East time. It's 9 a.m. You're gonna be on a plane by 3 o'clock ish. Back here by 9:30, 10, something like that. It goes quickly in the way that's done, provided you can get out of London.
You have to get to the airport.
Right.
Last time it took 3 hours.
That blew my mind when you said no police escorts.
None
in England. That's
only
wild.
for the king.
That's wild. And then at Pittsburgh on the 12th.
See, why can't you give me a home game? And the NFL's excuse is probably, well, the Vikings are technically a home game. No,
it ain't.
It's not.
You got 3 straight roadies, is what it is.
Yeah.
At Detroit, Minnesota, and Pittsburgh. I think in that 3, you got to win one of those 3. I think you got to win one of those 3. And then you got Miami and New England. You're Miami home, and then you're at New England.
I don't know what Miami is.
I don't either. I think, obviously, New England's very winnable, and I think Miami's very winnable. So I think if you win one of those 3, Detroit, Minnesota, Pittsburgh, you can either win, preferably, I mean, that's probably the best chance you have at going on a winning streak this year, is you go Miami here, at New England, and then at the Jets on November 9th coming out of the bye week. That's your shot there to make a little hay. If you want to make a run at things, then you can do it then.
I like the bye week in week 9. I laugh when I look at Browns at Patriots 1 o'clock on Fox. That makes me laugh.
In the old days, that's CBS all the time.
When did that Spiro Ditas special?
It several of those.
I see a lot of Spiro.
A lot of 1 o'clock leads you to a lot of Spiro Ditas. So then you got at Jets after the bye on November 9th, and then Baltimore is here.
So that's a 4:25. That's a national window.
Yep. I wonder if you could. You'd have to look at the rest of the calendar on that.
I don't know.
That's the closest we're going to get to a primetime game.
Yes.
Lights will have to be on in the second half of that one on November 16th. At Vegas, November 23rd. That's nice for you. Warm weather.
Great. Weekend before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
However, for those of you that are like, hey, I'm going to go there. I'm going to book a hotel. You want to do that ASAP because Saturday is the F1 race there.
Oh, you got to be kidding me.
Nope. Everything's going to be roads. Every road is going to be shut down. The F1 race comes to Vegas that weekend.
F1 is in
Clay
Vegas
Weiss
that weekend?
could not be more excited.
Oh, my God.
He's like, we got to go on Friday so we can go to the race on Saturday.
I'm sure you will. Usually go 2 days in advance. Boy, that might be he's in school right now. That might be early birthday present from NBC because he is all into F1 right now.
F1 races in Vegas.
That's that weekend?
Yes.
Wow. That's a lot.
It is.
All right, so there you go. So that's at Vegas on the 23rd. Then the 30th,
Thanksgiving.
Niners here.
Pedro Thanksgiving.
That's exactly right. So did that get confirmed? Is Pedro in for that?
I haven't heard from him.
Yeah.
He's getting ready for Naked and Afraid. He's not here.
Well, he's playing. His 2 days back-to-back are going to be pretty crazy. Playing Olympia Fields today, and then the Hoffs Naked and Afraid the next day is going to be.
Yeah.
That's going to be a scene, man. Then you got Tennessee at home on December 7th. Then December 14th, you are at the Bears. I mean, buddy, this is the reality. From after you play Vegas on the 23rd, every other game is a bring a parka. that you play. It's all cold weather.
Yes.
49ers here on the 30th, Titans here on the 7th, at Chicago, Buffalo here, Pittsburgh
How about a mild
here,
December, please?
at Cincinnati. I mean, that is –
Give me some global warming, please.
I'm going to tell you, dude, that is – what is that, five home games? Is that right? 5 home games after November from November to
Yes.
December?
Yeah.
That's cold,
At
brother.
least you're home.
Get that dome and it won't matter. Get that dome built, then it won't
We'll
matter.
see.
Titans on the
but
7th.
I also think
Go ahead.
winnable. Like on the road in Vegas. I don't know what Vegas is. I don't know if Vegas knows what they are.
No.
Then I don't know what the Niners are going to be.
I
They're
think
one
they'll
of
be
those
good.
teams that could go either way. We
Yeah.
think they're going to be good, but
Yeah. Tennessee here, that's rookie quarterback that
Yep.
and a roster that's not very good. That definitely should be a
the
win.
Bears should be good.
I think
but-
the Bears will be. We'll see, though. We don't know. They're sitting there on the 14th. Buffalo is good, will be good, barring Josh Allen getting hurt. Will be very nice. I like their release video, too, with AI. That was funny.
Yes.
That went it for me. So Buffalo on the 21st, Pittsburgh on the 28th
Gotta
here.
win that one.
That is your home,
home
finale. On
Because
December
I don't
28th.
need that stadium full of terrible towels. Like, let's go.
When you looked at Pittsburgh and then of course at Cincinnati to close, it feels like the schedule makers also are with me and believe all along that Rodgers is going to be a Steeler. They opened Steelers Jets.
Yeah.
Like the amount of primetime stuff they have, like it just screams that they know they're getting Rodgers.
And I thought you could only have up to 5 or 6 primetime games. I think
Yeah.
the Chiefs and Eagles are at like 7 or 8.
There's 6. Is it the Chiefs? The Eagles have 7. Did I have that right?
I mean, every other week the Eagles are playing at
The-
4 o'clock.
The Lions, Cowboys, and Chiefs all play Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yeah.
Which is, I think I would probably not be a fan of. Yeah, prime time for Kansas City. So they've got Chargers in prime time in Sao Paulo. Then they're on Sunday Night Football against the Giants. They've got they're at
Determined to
Jacksonville
play
on
the
Monday
Giants
night.
in anything primetime is a joke.
It is, yeah. Get them early though. Get that New York market. Jacksonville on Monday Night Football. Then they back that up with Thursday Night Football against the. That's Sunday Night Football against the Lions. Then they've got a Monday Nighter against the Commies. Then they've got Texans on Sunday night. And then Broncos on Sunday night. Yeah, it's at least 7 for Kansas City. At least
And
7.
you just mentioned some of those matchups on Monday Night Football.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Browns weren't good enough for that? Come on.
Normally we get a Thursday minimum.
I was hoping – because you don't even get a mini bye. You get one bye week.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird that we didn't get something going into London, like the play. So you had the mini bye week going into London, or coming out of
Sure.
you know,
Something like
but
that
You don't,
would have been great.
You don't
with.
get it. Yeah, no, it's straight through. It's a lot of 1 o'clock. It's one window when we're without competition around the world, and that in the league rather, and that's the London game. The 2 4 o'clock games, 1 4:25 National Game of the Week against Baltimore on the 16th, and then at the Raiders on 4:05. Are there any flex options here?
Yeah, I think
Oh, here you go. Flexing for Sunday Night
Yeah.
Football will be used twice between weeks 5 and 10, and the NFL's discretion during weeks 11 through 17. For Monday Night Football, it's at the NFL's discretion, weeks 12 through 17. Thursday Night Football will be used up to twice. During the flex scheduling windows, games initially scheduled for Sunday Night Football, blah, 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 blah. So it used to be just Sunday night could flex, and now they all can flex a
now
little.
they all can. The Thursday night flex just sucks if you're a fan, though.
Oh, my gosh,
Because
yeah.
if you made arrangements to go to a stadium or something, I mean,
I'll tell you what
that's
jumps out.
changing numerous days.
Big picture league, what jumps out to me, the NFL, I mean, it's the Don Draper line from Mad Men. That's what the money's for. The NFL has taken and has made a great deal of money from their television partners, and there's much more to be made. And in exchange for that, you'll play when we need you to play. And so there's Black Friday, there's Saturdays during December. Every Saturday is loaded up against the college football playoff on December 20th. So all of those things, it's just we're going to play every single window we can. We're going to play, and we're going to squish you.
Same with Thursday Night Football. It used to be every team played, and now it's like we want the best because we wrote you a check for a lot of money.
Yeah. Yep.
So now you get the Chiefs or the Eagles or the Cowboys on Thursday night.
Yeah. Yeah, that's absolutely where you're at. We'll go more in depth on the schedule coming up a little bit later in the program. Also ahead today on the show to look forward to, Z one-on-one with Quinshawn Judkins. We'll play a little higher or lower. We'll also go to the podium for Carson Swessinger in the program as well today. Coming up next, he is your voice of the Cleveland Browns. He is Andrew Siciliano. He will be joining us coming up next. Before we do that, though, I should remind you that those are today's hot topics of the day presented by University Hospitals, official healthcare partner of your Cleveland Browns. Play-by-play voice Andrew Siciliano going to join us coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, presented by Bally Bet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. All right, welcome back in. Cleveland Browns Daily, presented by Bally Bet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Time to head out on that Twisted Tea hotline, brought to you by Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea, official sponsor of your Cleveland Browns. Keep it twisted, Cleveland. He is the play-by-play voice of your Cleveland Browns. He is the great Andrew Siciliano, and he joins us. What are you doing right now?
Oh, wow. Very direct question. Hi,
Yeah,
Bo.
good to see you, bud.
I am sitting in Jim Rome's studio in Southern California, as I am sitting in for I did it yesterday. I'm sitting in for Jim today in about 90 minutes. So sitting here prepping an exciting day of sports talk.
God, that's great. Does he still rack them?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to do an imitation when I'm here, but yes, he still has his show, and
what an
it's
icon,
going strong as ever. He took a couple of days off, and so here I am, happy to be back as the substitute pimp in the box.
That is fantastic. Let me ask you this: do you remember the first time that the NFL schedule release became a big deal?
I don't know that there was a very first time. I remember my first year at NFL Network, which was 2011, when you truly, because you were inside those four walls, grasp how important a day it was for the league. Mm-hmm. So I certainly remember that, and I have hosted that. The show that Rich did last night. There was a year or two where I hosted it for the network, and yeah, they take it quite seriously. Back then, and I don't know how it's done now. You get handed a paper schedule, right? Stapled together, mm-hmm. everyone's schedule, and you guys, everyone on the show had to prep in this conference room with the door closed, and the schedules could not leave the room, period. And the producers working on that show, in the newsroom system, you build the rundowns, the NPS or whatever, anyone who's worked in the business know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Those rundowns would be password protected. So other people in the building couldn't just log on and see what their favorite team's schedule was 3 hours before it actually got on air.
God,
they took
great.
it quite seriously, and they still do take it quite seriously. Yeah.
Yeah, and when you launch a network and it's year round, you have to create content. And they've done a wonderful job of turning this into a spectacle. Do you remember the first time that this became what amounts to an NFL team competition about who can most creatively unveil their schedule via social media?
That's a great question. The Chargers get all the credit these days, and honestly, I think some of their stuff is, hysterical, a bit mean-spirited. That's just me.
Sure.
When was the first time? The Titans knocked it out of the park 2 years ago with their video, with the bachelorette party. That was great. I don't know. It's a great question. I don't remember the first time, but it's really changed because, again, if you go back, once it started to blow up digitally, mm-hmm. and once we all became married to our phones or laptops, but mostly our phones, but really once the teams had the ability to exactly at 8:00 straight up put the schedule online, mm-hmm. the shows that were revealing those schedules, both NFL Network and ESPN, took a hit.
Yeah.
Because at that point, I can watch the show and look, I want to hear what Joe Buck has to say, or Al Michaels, or I saw Dan Quinn when I flipped over to ESPN yesterday as well. I want to see those interviews. You want to hear all that content, but at the same time, I just can open my phone and look at the schedule. Yeah. And then I think at that point, all the teams, Browns included, went, all right, let's have fun with this and let's do our videos and let's be creative.
I think sometimes, if you're out there listening at home and you've seen, our incredibly creative one, you see all the ones that go up around the league, you're like, oh, this is my team. But I could tell you, and Andrew, you could back me up on this or choose not to, I suppose, if you feel that that's true as well. This is the Super Bowl for these departments.
Yeah.
I mean, this is
absolutely.
It all points towards this.
This is absolutely it.
Yeah.
And some of them are great, and some of them are way, way, way too long. Let's go to the Ravens one yesterday. I'm the biggest Severance fan there is. I thought it was great, but it was 5 minutes long.
Yeah.
Right? And you're like, all right, this is fun and creative, but all right, unless you're a Ravens diehard fan, it's are you really sticking through to see Eric DaCosta with the goats?
No,
we're making a short film.
You're making a short film. And the budgets on these things have got to be just astronomical. Because some of the...
And then you have, the Colts who don't check all their boxes and have to take it down because they ran afoul of Microsoft IP.
So for our folks who maybe aren't aware of it, the Colts put one out yesterday that I didn't see it. It had Minecraft in it. Is that what the deal was? Because the Chargers use Minecraft too.
Right, and the Chargers also did Minecraft, but they, on their opening shots, made it very clear that either they had permission or this was a mock or a spinoff, whatever. They checked all the boxes. The Colts did not. And then the Colts also took a shot at Tyreek Hill, suggesting he was arrested. Right, and
yes.
He was. There's that whole thing with the roadside stop in September on the way to the game, which was ugly, and no one wants to go and play that back again. And so they had to apologize to Tyreek Hill. Then they took it down because it violated copyright stuff, and it was just a mess. So they built up their entire thing, and then after 20 minutes, when guys, actually we should delete this.
Let's get this down. Man, what a scene! All right,
let's get this down.
We'll go through ours in a second, but big picture, in terms of the league at large, what are you looking for? What are things, characteristics in the league schedule that you're curious about when these days drop?
You obviously want to look at week one and how they stack those games week one. There are some trends that I'm not a huge fan of. Personally, I don't like the Monday night doubleheader. I think you guys view it a little bit differently. I remember last year listening to the show, or maybe Nathan loves it and you don't remember. I don't remember both. Unless it's Sunday, 2 games played simultaneously to me is an annoyance. It's not a benefit. Now, if the early kick turns out to be an awful game, right? It's 28-0 going into the half. Well, you have the late game. All right, so there's that way to look at it. But I also want to watch both. I also want to watch both for detail. I also want to enjoy both. Yeah. And having them on simultaneously without a red zone product, so to speak, even though ESPN bounces back and forth, I find to be a bit of an annoyance when they used to do early East Coast game and then a West Coast late kickoff. Living here on the West Coast, I enjoyed that, but I also know it was awful for the East Coast fans.
Yeah.
So I'm not a big fan of that. I think the thing to look the thing to look at moving forward is the way the league continues to carve out standalone windows. Peacock is going to get a Saturday game, week 17, exclusively on Peacock now for the 3rd consecutive year. That's not new. They've done that in the past. They're going to get that. There's the Black Friday game. There's the NFL Network triple header game in Saturday as well. And there are more and more standalone windows here because more and more standalone windows mean bigger one-off TV contracts to do those games. And as that happens, it is going to get more and more challenging. Browns got flexed out twice late in the year from primetime. More and more challenging to find good games because if a network is going to step in and pay a lot of money, which everyone benefits when they do, they're going to want a good game. And it's harder to find those good games. And I think, and I don't know if I've said this on the air before, I think this may lead to changes in playoff seeding. And this is a big leap here.
Yeah.
But I have always been the guy that has said owners will never vote to give up a home playoff game for a division winner. And I think it should stay that way. You win the division, you deserve a home playoff game.
Okay.
But later and later in the season, with more and more standalone windows, I can tell you, it was hard to figure out that NFL Network tripleheader last year. It was hard to find enough good games late in the year to make everyone happy. ESPN's Week 18 Saturday doubleheader that we were a part of in Baltimore.
Yep.
Maybe this has been discussed. If they take away the automatic home game for the division winner, then those teams with leads that seem to have clinched the division or already have clinched the division would be more willing to play their stars and make games more interesting and give the league better games for TV in December.
Yeah, I mean, where I go to when you start talking like that sounds very much like a college football discussion, right? Because they're worried about the seeding. The other thing that they did is they said, well, heck, if there's this many teams that we want to have stay competitive, let's just make it 12 teams get in the playoff. And I do wonder if we're going to an 18-game schedule sooner or later in the NFL, and I do wonder if we expand the playoff as well to get more teams in so there are more games that matter late in the year, because you're right, it's a struggle at the end of this thing. A lot of these teams start to push their chips in and say, man, let's just get to the draft. Like, you can see it. So I do wonder if usually when you're looking for found money, which basically that's what you just described with all of these one-off windows that the NFL has, it's all found money. This is stuff we're doing anyway. Now we're just going to package it in a different way to get more money from it. Usually when that's the case, the counter of that is, okay, well then the next thing to do would be to add more teams to the playoff mix and add more games in the regular season, both of which I think are very much in play for the league.
I mean, sure. I would never say never. I don't know that is imminent. We already expanded 5 years ago. Expansion again would certainly bring in more revenue and certainly bring in new TV deals for the postseason. We already added the Monday night game on Wild Card Weekend. That was the expansion when we went from 12 to 14. So, yeah, perhaps
16
that
just
happens
seems so
one
easy.
day.
Then you got 8 in each.
I
No
could
buys.
just tell you from behind-the-scenes conversations last year, as remember, we got flexed out of the Thursday night in Cincinnati, and obviously the Sunday night against the Dolphins, that home game that went to a 4 o'clock game local, which was, made no sense on the 4 o'clock thing, that they were really struggling last year to try to give the networks that had paid a lot of money games to keep them happy in these standalone windows. And I also think, take the Bengals game. In retrospect, despite Myles Garrett's 100th sack, the Browns-Bengals game that day in Cincinnati, in retrospect, sure, okay, I get it. It got flexed out and probably should have been. But at the same time, part of the reason I think that game got flexed out is because the league 2 years previous at the owners' meetings had put in that Thursday night flex possibility, which everyone seemed to be, that's the end of the world. You can't do that. And if they hadn't used it through 2 seasons, it's almost like use it or lose it. There would have been a conversation, well, you pushed to get this in 2 years ago. You didn't use it for 2 seasons. Maybe we take away Thursday flex possibility. And they went, okay, let's use it. This is the right possibility. This is the right game to use it. But that decision to take the Browns off that Thursday night was basically made while they were beating the Steelers in the snow.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Seriously.
I know.
That's the timeline.
That's how crazy it is. Yeah, it gets... all right, let's do our schedule. It's obviously incredibly ambitious in September when you talk about Cincinnati, who just missed the postseason, and then you go Baltimore, Green Bay, Detroit before heading to London, and then at Pittsburgh coming out of it, I guess, if you want to just kind of conclude with that circle a little bit, those first 6 games on the schedule. What did you make of what the league did with us in that first kind of third of it?
Interesting. So obviously you start with the 2 division games. That's been done before. You start and end with Cincinnati. That was done 2 years ago in 23. So I guess we're kind of used to that as well. That first stretch is tough. The day and age of owning the Bengals at home is gone, but week 1, bring it on. Everyone starts anew. Let's go. And the Bengals are notoriously bad under Zach Taylor in September. So why not get them at home week 1? Yeah. I love it. Baltimore week 2, you got to go there eventually. And then you get the tough stretch. You get Green Bay at Detroit, and then you got to find your way to London. And I understand the Browns' decision, and really the football side of the building, one would assume. Teams, so just full background here so everyone understands. It used to be, when the whole international series thing happened and teams were sent to London to play games, the idea from the league was, hey, you automatically get a bye. We know we're putting a burden on you, so you get a bye after your game. Cool.
Yep.
But then, as these London games moved earlier and earlier on the calendar into week 5 in early October, some teams raised their hand and said, hey, what if I don't want to buy that early in the season? Like, maybe I'm an East Coast team. I could come back and I could, tough it out the next week. I want my buy later. And so the league went, okay, we'll give you the option. So if you don't want the buy, take your buy later. So the Browns clearly have said, we don't want our buy week 6. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I support that decision. But the issue here is the league now gave you the Steelers, which is a bust. You don't have to get on a plane, but the Steelers are coming off a bye because the Steelers chose to take their bye after the Ireland game, which they're going to play week 4, the week before the Browns. That one's tough, and it's also tough that the Vikings are going to be over there for 2 weeks. It's not a good setup, in my opinion. That's the toughest. And you have that stretch there for like a month when you're not at home, and then you have a stretch a little bit later there with the bye, at least in between, where you're not at home. But I love the way the back half of the schedule sets up. So, Bo, if you can get through the first half, the back half sets up nicely. And I know people are ticked off, myself included, that there are no primetime games, but you have your way to earn those late in the season.
Yeah, and to the Vikings London thing, if you put yourself in Stefanski's shoes, Gibby and I were talking about this before the show started. Your 9:30 kick, if you're on the plane, is it unreasonable to think you're on the plane by 3? Is that
so? What's the time difference? It's 5 hours, right?
Yeah, it's 6. So, but I'm just saying, 6. Stay on East Coast time.
3.
Just if you just stay on.
I understand,
because it's a 9:30 Eastern kick, right? So if you can just trick your head into staying on East Coast time, which is something I do when we take the family out west a lot. Like I'll stay on East Coast time. That's because you don't have to. You're coming east. It's easy for you to rotate this. It's going west when it's hard.
At my age, it's never easy. It's just, I guess I'm the same way. You are what the clock, like it's whatever the clock says.
Essentially,
right? But that doesn't mean your body feels any better.
No. But they should be home by 10 o'clock Sunday night. Is what I'm saying.
Sure. Okay.
So
I got you.
So that's not much different than if you were playing on the West Coast, or really anywhere on the West Coast, or you'd have a long trip. I understand why they did what they did there.
And I do too. And it's not a 9 a.m. flight Saturday morning. It's a 3 o'clock bus.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. All right. So then you're talking about that. I think you're right. I think if you can find a way. I mean, you're going to be an underdog. I mean, quite honestly, the only team I don't know, I think Minnesota, a lot of people assume that J.J. McCarthy will play like Sam Darnold did at the minimum last year. And we don't know who he is. I mean, he had 2 surgeries last year. He was really good at Michigan when he was there, but that's been 2 years ago now. And so that's their quarterback. And so that one to me, that's not as bad as some of the other ones in that first 4 or 5 games are. But then you mentioned this, and this is the really make hay stretch, right? It's at New England, at Jets, Baltimore obviously tough, at Vegas. So those are all 3 winnable games, but they're all on the road. San Francisco here, Tennessee here, then at Chicago. So if you're going to kind of try to find yourself in the hunt, that's really the stretch from October 12th let's just start from Minnesota on the 5th. From Minnesota on the 5th through Tennessee on December 7th, that's basically 2 months. If you're going to make it interesting in December when you have all these home games, that's really when you got to make some hay. It's that stretch of games.
Yeah, and if you do make your hay, and I admittedly have not looked at or compared what, say, NBC has or what Amazon has or even what Monday Night has, ESPN has for any of their schedule in December. If you really do get some momentum, the idea of the Bears game, now that's a road game, getting flexed into primetime, the Bills game, the Bengals game, the Steelers game, all of those games in December, I would say save for the Titans at home, December 7th, all of those games have the possibility, if the Browns are good, of being good games that major networks would want. There's a lot of ifs here. We're a long way from December. But those games are not only at home, they're some of your big ticket opponents.
Yeah, they absolutely are. It's fun. I love looking at it. I like playing the schedule game. I like seeing how it all shakes out. I'll tell you what, it is. You're not going to play a warm weather game, buddy, after November 23rd. All the rest of them are either home or cold. It's at Chicago on the 14th, at Cincinnati.
Yeah,
it's cold weather from really November 20th, after the Vegas game on, it's cold weather every game. So you better be built for the elements.
That's a good point. That's a good point. And look, also, and we knew this coming in because obviously you know the opponents and you know where the games are going to be. It is a benefit. I know people hate the 1 o'clock Easterns. Like more prime times. I am 100% with you. 100% with you. The Titans didn't get a prime time. The Browns didn't get a prime time. The Giants, with the same record as the Titans and the Browns, have 3 prime times. I don't buy that. I know it's the New York media market, but I don't think they're going to be any good. But that's just me. There's my little rant. It's not a lot of travel, right?
No.
There's only 3 games out of the Eastern time zone. It's Chicago, which is close.
Yep.
Right? It's Vegas. Obviously, we were in Vegas last year. And it's London. It's Chicago, Vegas, London, and everything else is in the Eastern time zone.
All right, I'll get you out of here on this one so you can get to hosting in the jungle. Is there a team that the NFL bet big on? This happens every year. That they bet big on with primetime games or marquee games that you think they're overvaluing?
That's a good one. Well, I'll go back to, look, the Giants and the Patriots. Where are the Patriots? They were picking, gosh, did I forget the draft already? They're
fourth?
Picking 4th, right?
Yeah, I think that's right.
So the Giants and Patriots picking 3rd and 4th have a combined 6 primetime games.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I take it back. There's 5 because one of them is Giants against the Patriots, but they each have 3 on their schedule, one of them against each other. I think that's a bit much, just my personal opinion. The Cowboys getting 4 Thursday games, I understand the Cowboys. I worked on the other side of the curtain. I know the Cowboys are going to get eyeballs. Cowboys-Chiefs on Thanksgiving might be the most viewed regular season NFL game, regular season of our lifetime.
Yeah, you might be right.
With the numbers on Thanksgiving.
That's 425. Is that a 425?
Yep.
Yeah, it's in
the
play.
Middle of the afternoon game.
Yeah, it's in play. Yep.
Yeah. So, but you're betting big on the Cowboys again with a rookie head coach who I'm a fan of Brian Schottenheimer. I'm happy for him. I actually think it was the right choice. But you're betting big on them.
Yeah, you are. It's fascinating. It's fun to do. Always enjoy the conversation, buddy. Thanks for giving us some of your time today. Have some fun this afternoon again on The Jungle, my man.
Yes, sir. Talk to you later, Bo.
There he goes, your play-by-play voice, Andrew Siciliano, joining us on the Twisted Tea Hotline. Brought to you by Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea, official sponsor of your Cleveland Browns. Keep it twisted, Cleveland. We will take a look at the league scheduling at large coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily, presented by Bally Bet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Add more fun to your fandom with the Ballybet Sportsbook app. Download today, get 50 back in bonus bets when you place your first wager of 10 or more. Ballybet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. And Gibbe,
yes, sir.
I see that we have some breaking news from Diana Rossini. This is the report. Hall of Famer Charles Woodson is set to purchase a 0.1% stake in the Cleveland Browns from the Haslam family. The sale is contingent upon Woodson agreeing to similar broadcasting restrictions to Raiders owner Tom Brady and removing his name, image, and likeness from businesses he is this is the alcohol businesses because he has the wine. Is that the deal?
Yeah,
businesses he's involved
in. He's
an
Ohio native, obviously.
Yeah,
pride
Toledo.
of Fremont Ross
Toledo
High School.
area, right? Yeah.
Would cease allowing his NIL to be used on packaging for new bottles of wine and whiskey businesses he is involved in to secure his Browns ownership stake as it violates the league's alcohol policy. So he's got to make some adjustments.
Yeah, I think his wine's Intercept, I think. It's got a lion on it. I've seen it. Yeah, so that's exciting. He was around last year, wasn't he?
He was on the sideline for a couple games.
Yeah, and I thought we saw him around the building a little bit.
Yes.
So from a broadcast, does he do – I know he does college sometimes. Like he'll show up on that Fox pregame show from time to time, especially the Ohio State-Michigan game or like the Michigan-Texas game. Does he do any NFL beyond that?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I'll be candid. I'm not paying attention to the pregame shows much anymore, so maybe he is. I do see him every once in a while on the Fox.
Or he does like a
College
feature.
football.
He'll do an interview maybe for NFL.
I mean, he's one of the coolest. He's one of the coolest athletes to ever come out of Ohio, and we've had a lot of cool ones. He's on a very short list.
Well, and unfortunately, our football team that we work for helped get him into the Hall of Fame. He had some pretty memorable moments against us.
Yes.
Way back when.
Yes, he did. And he also
makes me angry, but
I would also say that he clinched the Heisman with what he did against Ohio State when he dropped the pose. Was it the pick six? I know he returned a punt for a touchdown in that game. I can't remember if it was a pick six or a punt. I wasn't here at that time, but I remember him dancing into the end zone. And I remember him getting into a fight with, was it David Boston?
Yes.
I think it was David Boston. And I think all David Boston has done from that moment until now is lift. I think that's all he's done is lift weights. He's huge. But that's exciting. Really cool to see that if that's indeed the way that's going to shake out. Nothing official from the organization yet, but reportedly Charles Woodson coming on as a minority owner.
It says he's a media analyst for Fox Sports.
Yeah, like I said, I see him on the college football stuff from time to time. He's always at the Ohio State-Michigan game and goes on the broadcast for that. And then I see him for the like Michigan plays Texas. He'll be on the field for that one too and show up on the set. Here's one thing that I think is really cool about him, and I actually used to do this when I was in local television. He's a big Ascot guy as opposed to Ty. So I used to do Ascot Wednesdays when I did local TV, which was awesome. I loved it. So I'd wear an ascot on a Wednesday.
Well, and you couldn't have facial hair, I'm assuming.
No.
There were rules against that.
No. In those days, you couldn't have facial. It was looked down upon. So I did, which is why I don't shave now because I shaved every day for 15 years. But yeah, so I would do ascot Wednesdays. So whenever we get him in studio, I will have an ascot on for the interview.
I'm a big fan of that.
That's a lock.
Maybe we just need to have those here.
Just in case.
So when it happens, you and Zagura both can.
You got to have the collared shirt at the ready, though, because it's got to be popped. And then that way
Zagura has half his closet here. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think there's everything here. All right, so that's exciting stuff. Some other things are in terms of the schedule release. Here are just some fact and figures. The team with the most primetime games is the Kansas City Chiefs. 7 of them for KC, 6 for Dallas. Here is the list of teams with 5. You tell me which don't make sense or which is unlike the others. Falcons, Bills, Lions, Chargers, Dolphins, Eagles, 49ers, and Commies. How did the Falcons get on this list?
They're gutless. Why do we keep giving them opportunities?
Everybody else, the only thing I like about Atlanta is Orlando. No, I like a lot about Atlanta. But, I'm surprised that they're in there. Everybody else is either a playoff team, Super Bowl champ in the case of Philly, or one that is perennially in the mix, like Miami, the Chargers, and the 49ers. So those are the teams with 5 games in prime time. Here are the teams with 4: Ravens, Bengals, Broncos, Packers, Texans, Rams, Vikings, Steelers, Seahawks, Bucks. I am shocked that the Packers don't have more primetime games. I'm shocked that the Ravens don't have more primetime games. The Bengals, honestly, the Steelers too. They always rate well.
So Brooke Pryor, our good friend in Pittsburgh,
Yeah.
did an interview here this afternoon with Mike North, the NFL's VP of Broadcast Planning and Scheduling. He's our broadcast czar that we meet with and puts together when we go to commercials and all that fun stuff. Asked about how they handled the Steelers with Aaron Rodgers' decision still unmade. He said the Steelers' body of work warranted the 4 primetime games, but if Rodgers elects to play, it makes things even more interesting.
Look, the Steelers warrant the 4 primetime games whether he plays or not. They have a winning record every year, and they're one of the biggest brands in the sport. That's the same way I feel about Green Bay. I mean, like, Green Bay only playing 4, Baltimore only playing 4?
Yeah. Now, this is interesting. North added that if they knew for certain Rodgers was going to play for the Steelers, they might have done something different with the Week 1 Steelers-Jets matchup. Why not do it? Let's throw a little gasoline on the fire and let's go.
They're obviously hedging.
Yeah.
So it's either going to be a national game of the week at 1 o'clock. It'll be like the main one.
Yeah.
But, yeah, they obviously believe that he's going to be there, which is what I believe too.
There was another thing. North is on Rich Eisen right now. He's doing all the national stuff.
Yeah.
And they asked, they're like, so the Chargers, Week 1, they're in Brazil. And Week 2, you've got them on the road again. You're not doing them any favors. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And he's like, Chris Brown reserved SoFi, Week 2. Chris Brown's doing a weekend concert.
Oh, the music guy?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
He goes, Chargers couldn't give them a home game.
Well, they don't have their own stadium.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do? Kroenke's subleasing the stadium to bands over them for crying out loud
exactly.
is what's happening. Some other notables, Week 2 Super Bowl rematch. That is Philly and Kansas City. That is your national game of the week on Fox. Tom Brady will be on the call with that one with Kevin Burkhardt. Then Week 3, Bengals at Bills. That is, boy, Fox went, that's great back-to-back for them. So they go Chiefs, Eagles, Bengals, Bills back-to-back in the 425 window for Fox. Oh, that's not Week 3. You have it as week. That's December 7th. Yeah, in the note it says week, but that's actually December 7th. That's not back-to-back. Not Week 2, Week 3. That's got to be like Week 13. Week 8, Commies at Chiefs on Monday Night Football. Week 1, Ravens at Bills. There was a lot of rumors that was going to be Bengals at Bills on the opener in Week 1, but they moved that one later in the season. And then Bears at Commies on October 13th in the Hail Mary rematch. The Commies jumped out to me with this with the 5 primetime games. I know Z's really loves Daniels, and what's not to love? There's a lot, but are they ready to do that again? Like, are you ready to back that up?
And coming up in hour 2, I've got some over-unders that Cynthia Freeland projected each team from. We'll do the NFC today. We'll do the AFC tomorrow.
I like it.
But it's just some teams' win-loss totals that stood out, and the Commies have an awful big number.
Yeah, they do. They really.
I'm not sure we should be crowning them quite yet.
No, there's usually a little bit of a regression. We saw that last year with C.J. Stroud and the Texans. So there you go. Kind of everything that happened yesterday on schedule release day. Second hour of the program coming up next. We kick it off with Z one-on-one with Quinshon Judkins, who was awfully impressive in rookie minicamp. You have that to look forward to, which is nice. You listen to Cleveland Brown Daily, presented by Bally Bet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Browns fan single game tickets on sale now. From now through Saturday, tickets purchased through the Browns primary ticket marketplace fee-free, courtesy of Huntington National Bank. You can grab tickets for all the best matchups at Huntington Bank Field. Visit browns.com/tickets for offer details and to purchase your tickets today. Now here is Z one-on-one with new Browns running back and former Buckeye running back Quinshon Judkins.
Very happy to be joined by Browns running back, second-round pick Quinshon Judkins, going right up north from Columbus, where he won the national title with the Ohio State Buckeyes, here to Cleveland. We talked draft night. What's it been like since then that gets you here, getting ready to take the field for your first rookie minicamp?
Man, such a surreal experience. I think just to be around a lot of great athletes, finally see the guys that were drafted with me in this class, spend time with them, spend time with Coach Deuce, and, just get in the playbook and get dialed in, ready to roll.
We talked earlier, like Coach Deuce, and your interactions prior to being a Brown, very intense. You got all that. What's it been like now that you are a Cleveland Brown?
Man, more than I can imagine. I think Coach Deuce, he wants us to succeed. I think he'll help me take my game to the next level, and us working together has been nothing but great so far. He's very attentive. Everything that's small, he's detailed about it, and he wants us to succeed.
Is it weird that you go from playing in the national championship, winning the national championship, then you really don't play football for a long time, and yet that's the whole draft process. That's where you're getting judged and evaluated, even though you haven't played. Now you get to go do what you like to do, right? This is the safe space. This is home to get back out there on the grass.
That's definitely super weird. And for myself, with such quick turnaround time, we played a national championship, and then within 2 weeks, you were preparing for the NFL Combine. So just everything is happening really fast. And then right after that, you had your visits and then the draft. So everything is just super fast as far as turnaround time. And you're just taking advantage of it. That's the most important thing.
What's kind of been like meeting the teammates? Have you gotten to meet any of the vets?
Yeah, a lot of the O-linemen were super psyched to have him. It's bro, we wanted you. Let's go. So I walked in the locker room. They all were screaming. Just super happy, man. I think it'll be fun. What I contribute to the team and what I bring, my energy, passion. I look forward to it.
Have you gotten to meet David Njoku yet?
Not yet. No,
I
can't wait. I'm gonna tell him. I'm gonna tell him, be like, bro, you got to change your hair, bro. I have mine first, so I can't wait.
You got the proof for that. You got that on. We got that. We'll photographic record.
We'll see.
We'll see. Okay. All right. You got to meet. We talked on draft night. Obviously, Dylan Sampson in the mix. So the two of you coming in together.
Right.
How nice is it to have another player in your room to kind of go through this experience together? Two guys very, very productive in college.
Good. Two guys, like you said, very productive in college. For them to go and get another running back as well, have another person in the room that can contribute. And for myself, me as a competitor, especially what I did at Ohio State, having Travion there, it's you know what I'm saying? It's just the same thing. And I think just coming in here with the same mentality, just contribute to the team, and just go out there and trying to help.
How much better do you feel right now than you would have maybe after a year at Ole Miss where you took 280 carries?
Oh, man, amazing.
Is it a big difference?
I wouldn't say it's a big difference just because of the play style I have. You can give me the ball 30 times a game, so it don't matter. But I think playing 17 games this past season, and I looked at my body and I was like, man, I still feel good. That was something that I really paid attention to. And it was 17 games in and I felt good. I didn't have any injuries, anything of that sort. So I think it definitely is something that you look forward to as a running back and you see.
How do you kind of balance give me the ball so I can get in the rhythm of the game, give me the 20-plus, let me wear them down to, all right, I get to be fresh for 15 carries as opposed to, say, 25?
I think just really, man, at Ohio State, you don't really get, this past year, you don't really get the 30 carries. You're not getting all that. So just being productive when you do get the ball, having that ability to go and get yards and, take it home from far, home run ability, all those things of that sort. So just being able to have the mentality.
Well, our fans love running backs. That is a rich history. You can just turn around in this building. We got running backs all over the walls up there. You got Leroy Kelly. You got Jim Brown over there. This is a good running back place to be. There's no doubt about it.
Yes, sir.
Is that kind of fun? You go to Ohio State, you think of the tradition at Ohio State as well.
You're right.
Very, very productive at that position. Yeah. And then now here you come to the Cleveland Browns.
Man, it's just what better place do you want to be, especially at my position? And special place, great fans. A lot of them were Buckeye fans.
That's right.
And I want to come do the same thing that I did here. So that's a mentality.
The funny thing is, had you come here from Ole Miss, you would have been beloved the second you became a Cleveland Brown. But coming here from Ohio State does have its advantages, and I'm sure DeJuan would tell you that, and Denzel and all the guys who have done it before you. Yeah. That's pretty cool, right?
It is, and I've seen Denzel, and he's like, OH, when I first walked in the facility, and I see all the guys that I met a lot of guys that are Buckeyes on the team, and for them to be all around and still have that brotherhood, and they say it and speak on it, so it's pretty special, and it's a lifelong thing.
Is it interesting, like, do you think now for people who go through like NIL and people who are, going through the portal like you did, going from Ole Miss, going to Ohio State, is it kind of where you're going to have bonds from Ole Miss for sure, but kind of where you finish, is that kind of where you're at, or is it because you finished someplace that won the national title?
Like, you win a national title, it's like, man,
that's a pretty.
That's
good
where
bond.
I went.
Yeah.
So that's where
That's
I'm
who I
going.
am.
That's who I am.
Yeah.
I went to the place that won a national championship. But no, seriously, I think I learned a lot at both of those places. I've gotten great, advice from everyone there. Have great relationships with everybody there, and at both of those places, I learned a lot and just grown as a player and as a person. So, you can say whatever, it don't matter. Buckeye for life.
How wild has this been for your mom? I know you guys are so close, and just what a journey. I saw when you guys came in after you got drafted. Yeah. She's beaming. She ends up answering the phone because you're getting lemonade. We know that.
Right.
But like, just how great is this? And for you to be able to kind of give this moment to a woman who has given you so much.
Man, super special. I think not only for her, but my dad as well. Both of them taking part in my success and always supported me throughout the way, and being there, giving me advice, the leadership, the traits to go out there and do what I do, and help me develop into who I am as a person. But I feel like, with both of my parents, just having that moment to, congratulate each other on the success that they raised me to be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's great. So for them to come in the locker room and see all this stuff set up for the first time after I got drafted, I was happy to see the looks on their faces.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's great, bro.
It really is amazing.
Yeah.
All right, what do you hope to kind of accomplish here in this rookie mini camp? Getting back on the field and just kind of showing, like, all right, you guys know who I am. You've seen my tape back from college. You got to meet me as the person, and obviously you're going to fit in so well here in Cleveland after interviewing you twice. There's no doubt in my mind. But just to get out there, what do you hope to show people when you get on the field? Oh,
man, just the installs that we put in with Coach Deuce, getting dialed in the playbook, making sure everything's tuned up. I'm ready to go, fired up, and what I'll bring to this organization. So I'm ready to put it on for sure.
All right, when you say what you're going to bring to this organization, that's what the fans want to know. What is Quinshon Judkins bringing to the Cleveland Browns?
Dog, home run ability, touchdowns.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go get it done. Quinshon, thank you so much for your time. Have fun out there today, and congrats on starting now. This is a real start of your NFL career.
Thank you.
All right.
He is so likable. And Quinshon was good too. But, that was –
Don't inflate his ego.
He's not here.
Yeah,
no, look,
back to him.
He's a stud. And I think there is so much that you can glean from him in the choice that he made to go to Ohio State, because he could have gone anywhere he wanted. He's led the SEC in rushing, which is as close to the NFL as you're going to get. The 2 seasons he was at Ole Miss, led the SEC in rushing, and he could have gone somewhere and been a bell cow and been somebody who got all the carries, and maybe he could have tracked down a Heisman. Who knows? He went to Ohio State knowing that he was going to share the job with Travion Henderson, but with the idea of this will allow for me to not be worn out by the time I'm done with college football. And boy, did it work. And there were times they leaned on him, and sometimes they leaned on Trey. They leaned on them both as they made that run to the national title. But I think it speaks a lot to like him seeing the forest through the trees the way a lot of kids his age might not have. And he deserves a lot of credit for that.
I still am fascinated to know, and at some point when we have them on, the powers that be that made the pick, what was the differential moment between Judkins and Henderson?
So if you remember when we did like the G-Men did that thing where we would do like their comps, and the comp that I used for Quinshon was Kareem Hunt, like Kansas City Kareem Hunt.
Exactly.
Was kind of my comp for him. I think they run very similarly. And I mean that as an incredible compliment. Love Kareem and love the way that he ran. I think what it came down to is we're getting back to what Kevin wants to be, which is a wide zone play action team. And in this division, you kind of need a battering ram a little bit. And I think Quinshon is a little bit – not that Travion's not a willing guy between the tackles, but it's just more natural. Quinshon is more of a one-cut, get-up-field guy. honestly is a lot like Nick. Not suggesting he's necessarily going to have. Hopefully, he has that type of career that
glorious.
Nick has, and he had that instant impact that Nick had. That's a lot to put on a kid who hasn't played yet in the NFL. But there's a lot of similarity stylistically between Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb, and Quinshon Judkins. So my hunch is that body type, running style, those things were what put him over the top. He's a stud.
Oh, well, you pair him with Samson, who's the opposite, a flash.
Yeah, I think
it's a great combination. I know that they've taken to each other. They become really good friends. They gang up on Deuce Staley pretty well. I don't know. I think it's going to be a very fun running back room. And if you're looking for something to get excited about this football team when it comes to this fall, that room is one of those reasons.
And I think it's going to need to be.
Yeah.
Like if you play the schedule game and you're going to try to get to a point where you're in the mix in December and November, then Quinshon Judkins and Sampson are going to have Dylan Sampson are going to have to be dudes. And my hunch is they probably will be. All right, we'll do a little higher or lower on the win projections from our friend Cynthia Freeman. We'll do that. Do a little golf talk as well coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily, presented by Ballybet, official sports betting partner of Cleveland Browns on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Serious Lawyers, serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO for a free case review. Elk & Oaks, proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. We always pay a little bit of attention, a little bit more than a little bit of attention to the majors around here. I got to tell you, this is struggle. PGA Championship is at Quail Hollow. I think playing the tournament this week is a tough sell for sports fans.
Yes.
And I think the ratings will reflect that based compared to what they were in other times of the year. I think that playing a course that you see a lot on PGA Tour, you see, Quail Hollow every year on the PGA Tour. So I think there's some of that to it. And then this leaderboard is doing them no favors. None. I mean, it's the opposite of a who's who.
Yeah, you got Luke Donald in second.
Scheffler is like the first, like on this list of like people the casual golf fan and sports fan would know. You got to go down to Scotty Scheffler, who is tied for 15th at 2 under in the clubhouse with a 69.
Wasn't he with Rory? And
he was.
Well,
and Rory blew up.
Guys?
Well, Rory's like 4 over, 3 over. Rory's out of the mix. He's with Schauffele and Rory. I don't see Xander on here. DeChambeau's at even.
Yeah, I need that.
Schauffele shot 72. He's 1 over. And Rory's 3 over.
Yeah, Shane Lowry was +2. I know that he was supposed to be in the mix. Mickelson was an 8 over. And I know he's on the backside of his career. Spieth's +1 through 3. Patrick Reed +1 through 3. Morikawa's on the plus side. It's a rough board here so far.
I like how my guy Bob Sowards, who's he's a teaching pro down in the Columbus area, right now he's playing because he qualified.
That's awesome.
Yeah, right now he is a shot better than Rory McIlroy.
Take a picture of that.
That's pretty good, right?
You should screenshot
he
that
should.
And be like,
yeah.
Where's he the pro at?
I'm not. He used to be. I don't know which course he's at now, but it's one of the northern suburb courses. He used to be in one of the.
It's like one of those when BG plays Ohio State and they sometimes get the early lead 7-0, and I screenshot it to know that did happen before Ohio State hangs a 63 spot.
Absolutely,
up.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a shot better than Rory and a shot better than Justin Thomas, who are both 3 over. At the moment. Yeah, they're not. The leaderboard is doing no favors. There's not anybody.
And aren't they supposed to have weather all weekend?
Well, yeah, and Scheffler was talking about that. I guess they did not allow them to play the ball up, so they didn't allow them to clean the ball, and they're muddy. So I guess there's several times where they're in the fairway and the ball gets mud caked on it, and so like that affected them a little bit because they've had weather, I think, kind of throughout.
I know it's windy.
Yeah.
Right now, and it is very overcast. So I'm assuming that there's rain in the forecast. But
I mean, you got to go like 20-some guys deep to find somebody that like the casual golf fan would know.
Rahm is -1, Finau -1, and that is a far way down the board.
Yeah. Yeah. This is tough. By the way, do you know what happened 1 year ago and 2 days from now? That's Scotty getting arrested at Valhalla.
Wow.
That happened 1 year and 2 days. It's May 17th.
Yeah, it was on a Friday.
It was a Thursday.
Oh, you're right. It was the first day of the
tournament.
That's right.
It was on a Thursday. It was the first day of the tournament, and he had like a 10-something tee time. And he was getting to the course early and got arrested for going around. I mean, and somebody tragically died.
Correct.
In an accident, a volunteer. And he, the rest is history. He ended up in jail and booked, handcuffed.
All that was like at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
That story's breaking. You're going, wait a minute.
I was doing
the
morning show, and I basically was providing play-by-play of what was going on with Scotty Scheffler. And then he showed up back at the course like 10 minutes before his tee time and then played, and I think he was under par.
He was. He was not really in the mix because
of
everything, but he was under par and in typical Scheffler fashion performed.
Yeah. It was 1 year and 2 days. It was May 17th of 2024.
Yeah, probably not wishing him a happy anniversary.
No, and I remember going to Memorial a couple of weeks later down in Dublin, and there were people that had the Scotty T-shirts, the mugshot T-shirts.
I remember that.
Yeah, those were out there.
Well, we had friends, some good friends of ours the husband and his sons and a bunch of other guys were on a golf trip. They played down there, and then they had tickets for that Friday. And they were playing at a golf course, and they're like, wait a minute, what's going?
Yeah.
They were down there, and they said it was just chaos.
Yeah.
But that was like, logistically, it was one of the worst courses to get in or out of.
Right.
Like I remember golfers sending families home after like the practice rounds. They were like, we're never going to be able to get people in or out of here.
No. That was Valhalla, yeah. Yeah, I wonder what yeah, I just was on the Quail Hollow site to kind of get a look at how they present themselves there. But yeah.
Scotty's in the mix though, -2. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Gerard keeps the pace, but
Ryan Gerard, Luke Donald, Ryan Fox, Alex Smalley, Steven Jagger, Alex Noren, JT Poston, Ryo Hissatoon, Nico Echeverry, Matt Fitzpatrick, Robert McIntyre, Rasmus Haggard, Keegan Bradley, Justin Lower, JJ Spahn, all of those guys to get to Scotty
so
Scheffler.
2 of them I know.
How many do you know?
2.
And you watch a lot of golf.
2.
So how many does everybody else know? Probably none.
That's
Of
about
that
right.
group. So yeah, that'll be a tough sell. All right.
Yeah, let's hope the afternoon group gets a little better.
Yeah, you need that a little bit there, buddy. All right,
Yeah.
you ready for a little higher, lower?
Sure, let's do it. Compliments of Cynthia Freeland, NFL Network analytics expert.
Browns
friend of the
contributor.
program. Huh?
Browns contributor, right? We
Browns
saw her like all
contributor,
year on the picks.
especially in season.
Yeah.
So here's how to read these projections. Using projected 53-man rosters as of May 14th,
Okay.
I ran 1 million simulations for all 272 regular season games. Okay.
All right.
All right. I mean, I drank some beers and just kind of hung out if you wanted to overachieve like that.
She got busy.
A quick note, barring injuries, which are typically the biggest source of uncertainty, I have made roster projections using the best information available. These simulations yielded a projected win total for each team, which, thanks to the multitude of factors involved, is not always a round number, hence why some of these numbers are a little different. We'll start things off. Carmen, hit it.
Higher or lower?
Eagles, actually, with a regular number, 11. Higher, lower, or just right? We'll pick out a few of these.
All right, so the Eagles, their non-divisional schedule is at Chiefs, Rams at home, at Bucks, Broncos at home, at Vikings, at Packers, Lions at home, Bears at home, Raiders at home. That's their, and then at Bills.
They lost a lot defensively.
They did.
They had a good draft, but
Yep. Yeah, they're pro. I see no scenario how they don't win 12 games. So, I think the Giants aren't very good. I think the Cowboys will be middling. And I think
the
Washington
Commies could come back a
I
little
think
bit.
they come back. I think they're going. I think they're winning 12 games. So I would take the over.
Next,
Higher or lower?
Washington, the Commies. She has them at 10.2. Again, this is through all those simulations and mocks that she's got. 10.2. Higher, lower, or just right?
So they play Kansas City as well. And they basically mimic the schedule that that Philly played. So they're at Kansas City, at Falcons. Those are kind of some of their one-off games that are out there. They do host the Raiders in Week 3.
Yeah, they have Monday Night Football in Kansas City in Week 8, followed by back-to-back home games against the Seahawks and Lions. They have a lot of holiday games. They go to Spain to take on Miami. There's a lot of travel involved here.
So, in order to win this, they'd have to win 11.
Yes,
which is a one game less than what they won last year.
You can say just right.
I think it's right on just right. I think they'll be 10-7, which I get 10.2. You would not get it, but to me, this is right in the sweet spot between 10 and 11 games. I don't see them going any lower than 10. It's weird. I don't see them any more than 11 either.
I see them going 9 or 10.
Yeah,
I could see 9 and 8.
Yeah,
I could see them coming back to earth a little.
Could very well happen.
Next.
Higher or lower?
Detroit Lions projected win total by Cynthia Freeland, 10. On the nose.
Jeez, this is a big comeback to earth. They were 15-2 last year. This is them losing 5 more games than they did a year ago. I do think they will be smarter with their player usage this year, maybe than they were last year. They got just absolutely ravaged by the injury bug late in the year. I would go over Detroit at 10. I mean, all they got to do is win 11 to get there. 11-6 does it. So I think Detroit will be over that.
I think they're right on it. I think all before week 8, they go to Lambeau, host the Bears, head to Baltimore, Cincinnati, and Kansas City, and then host Tampa Bay all before week 8.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a tough start for them.
And they got to stay healthy.
Yeah, they got to play the Eagles. They got to play. Yeah, it's tough.
I'd go sweet spot. Next.
Higher or lower?
Zagura's pride. Enjoy the San Francisco 49ers. 9.9.
So I think they're ready for a big bounce back. Obviously missed it last year. They went 6-11. 10 wins would get me the over. In terms of teams that drafted high that are on their schedule, they have a consecutive stretch of Carolina, us, Tennessee, all of those games back to back to back. They got Arizona in that stretch as well. They got the Colts in that stretch. Even if they struggle a little bit early, the back end of the schedule is really set up for them. I think they go over 9.9.
I think they're probably right there at 10, and the reason why is I look at the NFC West. I don't think Seattle is going to – you're trotting Sam Darnold out as your quarterback. You traded DK Metcalf.
I'm with you.
I got a lot of questions there. Arizona, I continue to have questions until they actually do something, which when was the last time that happened? I don't feel great about them.
I like the Rams.
If Stafford stays healthy,
yeah,
they're legit, but that's the only one.
Yeah.
So I think the 49ers get a lot of wins in the division, and that helps them get to 10. Next.
Higher or lower?
Chicago, the Bears. 8.9 for the Bears.
Vikings at home to start, then at Detroit, Dallas at home, at the Raiders, at Commies. That's how they start. That's their first month of the season is that stretch that we went over. Their bye week is in week 5, which is really early.
But then week 6 versus Washington for Monday night, that rematch. At Baltimore, week 8. Philly in week 13 on Black Friday. And the 49ers in week 17 on Sunday Night Football, just to name a few. Plus the rest of the NFC North division.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's also a book that just dropped today called, let's see, I'm trying to see who wrote this. But Williams is quoted in it. It's American Kings, a biography of the quarterback. Oh, Seth Wickersham wrote it. This is what Caleb Williams' father told Wickersham. Boy, why would he do this on the record? Chicago is the place quarterbacks go to die. This excerpt came out in the last hour or so. Caleb wondered out loud, do I want to go there? I don't think I can do it with Waldron, the former offensive coordinator there. It's incredibly candid stuff from him. The number is 8.9. I think this is sweet spot. I think they're 9-8 is what I think they are, and that's right on it.
See, and I think they're probably I think they're 8-9. I don't know if they're 500. I think they've got a lot of talent, but I need to see it from the quarterback. And I think the coaching will 100% be better than what he had.
I mean, in this thing, he's quoted as saying, I need to go to the Vikings.
Woof.
I mean, jeez, let's do it, his father replied. Why would they do this on the record? Ryan Poles stood firm telling Williams, we're drafting you no matter what. Wow.
We want to go to the bike. Dude,
he
you're
told
the number one
Wickersham,
pick.
He's worried about me taking bullets. I don't care. I don't agree with this blank, I'm more interested in making sure that he can do what he wants to do. And then eventually he came around, I can do it with this team. I'm going to go to the Bears. Wow. Why would they sign up for this? What's their win in talking to Seth Wickersham for all this?
And this is wherein the problem lies. Wow. Where is the headspace of the quarterback of the Chicago Bears?
Crazy, man.
Yeah.
What's the win for him there?
Doesn't make sense. One more next.
Higher or lower?
We'll go the Dallas Cowboys, the circus act that is Dallas and the Big D. 7.2. Higher, lower, or just right?
Well, they're poised to bounce back. I mean, they'll have Dak. The schedule is, I mean, it's a lot of winnable games when you look at the schedule in terms of the fact that they finished dead last. Or I guess they were second to last, 7-10.
I was going to say.
I mean, I think it's an over. I know I've gone over on a lot of these. I don't know if that's just the way that worked out, but I think it's an over for Dallas. I don't think they're going to win 7 or fewer. They'll win 8 or 9. Could win 10. I'll go over with
I don't
a
know what
healthy
their
Dak.
running game is.
No, but they got 2 great receivers. They got Dak.
They've had a lot of retirements on that offensive line.
They have, yeah. I'll go over.
All right, but not by a lot.
Not by a lot, but they'll
No.
go over.
Just a couple other notables before we go to break here. Panthers were at 7. I thought that was a pretty generous number.
That's a big number for them.
Really big number. The G-men were at 5.4 and the Saints were at 5.3.
Under on
So
both of those.
She was very generous with her projections for everybody in the NFC.
Yeah. I think under on New Orleans and the G-men. All right. You're going to love him, guys. You're going to absolutely love him. Carson Sweshinger, rookie linebacker out of UCLA. His podium session is coming your way next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, presented by Ballybet, official sports betting partner, your Cleveland Browns on 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right, time to head to the podium presented by Vivid Seats. Purchase your official fan experience package today for the ultimate game day. New Browns linebacker Carson Swessinger.
Well, what do you think so far? How's it been for you?
You're done.
Great. I'm excited. I'm excited to be able to get to work, and then even just being out here. It's good weather today too. So I'm really excited to get out there today.
I know it's early, but have you maybe gravitated towards anybody in the building? Maybe a fellow rookie, a coach, a vet that's here?
Yeah, I mean all three of those, but specifically just Coach Tarver. Being able to talk with him. I know we both have a little bit of the same education background, so that's been cool. And then just being able to learn from him and everything like that's been great.
He's kind of a fiery guy. So how did you guys connect in that regard?
Oh yeah, I mean I love it. I mean, that's really what football is. You get to be fired up and bring energy every day. So that's exactly what he does, and it makes it a lot easier to come in and do the same.
Jim Schwartz is a defensive coordinator. He likes to let his front seven pin their ears back and get after it. What's your first impression of him, and how excited are you to play for a coach that is ultra aggressive?
Oh, I'm super excited. I mean that's really the motto there is attack and be physical, and that's something I'm really excited to be able to do.
Andrew Berry was talking about how your superpower is sort of coverage. Just wondering, have you thought about some of the big name tight ends in the NFL and what it's going to be like to try to cover them, and also working against David Njoku in practice?
I think going into the next level, you're always going to have to be looking to improve in every aspect, and whatever way they want to use me, is I'm ready to work for that.
I guess you led the nation in tackles last year. How did that come to be? Did that just happen, or was your first year as a starter?
I think there's a lot of preparation that goes into it, but really when you're on the field, if you run to the ball, you're gonna make tackles. So if you're going 100% when you're on the field, a lot of times that's one of the results.
So does that stat best represent you as a linebacker, you think?
I think it would be one that would, yeah.
Take us through that jump you made from not being a starter to all of a sudden leading the country in tackles. What happened there?
Yeah, throughout the whole process, I just knew that I needed just an opportunity to get on the field, and so for me that ended up being this last year, and and throughout the whole process my mindset was once I got the opportunity I was going to make sure that I was able to stay on the field and make them unable to take me off the field, and so that was really how that process worked out. And then once I was able to get my opportunity this year, I think I took it.
I know you said you just needed an opportunity, but entering that first year as a starter, was your mind really on the NFL as a former walk-on? And was there maybe a moment, a play, or a game where you were like, okay, I think I could really do this at the next level? I
think you always have to have that confidence, whether it was my first year at UCLA or my fourth year. That's always been the goal, but really the goal for me was to go out there and be 100% and get better each time I stepped on the field and be able to make plays. And so this has been kind of, I guess, what follows when that's really the goal. And so that's the same goal here, is when I'm stepping on the field, I want to make an impact, I want to make plays.
Knowing you have a relatively small sample size then of starts in college, how do you feel about your ceiling coming into the NFL, and do you think you have a lot to show in that regard?
Yeah, I think there's still a lot of untapped areas of my game to improve, and that's something that I'm really looking forward to do and really excited about.
Have you had a chance to meet JOK yet? And then also, have you had a chance to watch any of his film yet?
I haven't met him yet, but I have watched a lot of his film, that's one of the best linebackers in the league. You can see just by watching the physicality he plays with, the speed he plays with, is something that is very easy to learn from.
Looking forward to picking his brains.
Oh yeah,
when you get
of course.
Somewhere I saw you mentioned Luke Kuechly as kind of a player that you idolized or modeled your game. Is there any active linebacker you would put in that circle?
I would put JOK in that circle. I think he's definitely one of the ones that you want to emulate after, and me specifically, especially coming into this system. Like I said, I plan to be able to pick his brain a lot and learn a lot from him.
Quarterbacks that can extend plays are pretty prevalent in this league. You got two of them in this division alone with Lamar and Joe. Just how does your skill set fit the contain element of that?
Yeah, I think a lot of that will come down to defensive scheme as well. But wherever they plan on using me in that aspect, I think it allows us to do a lot of things. And as the real goal is getting those guys down, and so that's what we plan to do.
Carson, what are you anticipating to be maybe the biggest adjustment from, your time as a walk-on to be the college and then to the NFL?
I think the biggest adjustment is just going to be, it's you're now going against the best of the best, and so being able to pick up on that speed and learn that and adjust to that. But that's just something that comes with more reps and film study and just being able to keep working.
Carson, you talked about film study and everything. How important is it, the pre-snap process for you in terms of play-by-play when you're out there?
I think it's very important. I think that's one of the biggest parts of film study for me is being able to, by the time the ball is snapped, whether you haven't narrowed down to one or just a couple possible plays based off the down and distance, the look they're giving you, the formation, where the tight end's at, and that's really what allows you to be able to play super fast once the ball's snapped.
When you talk about what your role might be in this defense, do you think at UCLA you did so much, the variety was so big that you're prepared for whatever the Browns ask you to do?
Yeah, I think I'm prepared for whether it's, stopping the run, dropping in coverage, rushing in passer. I think I'm prepared for all of it.
Are you graduating this spring?
I'm not, no. I plan to eventually, though.
Will you stay here after minicamp? Or will you
yes,
go back?
yeah.
I'm not familiar with.
Here in Cleveland, what's been the most surreal part of this whole experience for you?
The most surreal part, I think, is just been arriving here and realizing that this is what I've worked for, but now it's taking that next step, and now it's continuing to be the same guy I was before and show up and work.
I'm not as familiar with UCLA's defense, but did you call the plays or signals on the field or anything like that?
Yeah.
You went up against Shador 2 years ago, Dylan last year. What was it like going up against them and now having them as teammates?
I think they're both really great quarterbacks. They're guys you want to have on your team instead of guys you want to be going against. So really, we'll be going against them in practice, but that's great to be going against them in practice, and two great players.
You say you want to pick a guy's brain. What sort of questions would you want to ask JFK?
Oh, there's a wide range, whether it's small details about certain things and the formations you're getting and the common runs or passes you get out of that, or it could be recovery habits or what you do to keep your body right or to get your body ready for practice, and really any of those.
Trust us, you're going to love him in brown and orange this fall. So much more to come. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily. It's presented by Ballybet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. How about the Timberwolves eliminating LeBron, Luka, and the Stephless Warriors all in one playoff? Did
Pretty
that last
good.
night. Pretty good out of them.
I don't think the network is very pleased about that.
No.
I can't imagine ESPN and TNT are doing cartwheels over the possible NBA Finals involving a T-Wolves team.
Oh, my God. Or India. I mean, I think OKC would be worse. At least Edwards is, I mean, like as great as SGA is, I don't think he's known outside of basketball circles.
I would agree.
Ant's got a little bit more star power. But if they end up with Indiana, OKC, good God.
How did the Celtics win by 20-something last night?
I think the Knicks just pushed in the chips and said, we'll see you back at the Garden.
We want to do it in front of our fans.
That's what I thought Indiana would do here. I mean, when they got down big in Game 5, you thought, okay, well, we'll see you back in Indiana, and they'll try to close it out at home, and then they didn't.
I just think you're messing. You're leaving that door open just enough.
Yeah. Yeah, it certainly is heading that way.
But if your Final Four is OKC, Minnesota, Indiana, and New York,
Knicks will save
you are
it.
praying to the gods if you're on the network level that the Knicks are there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the big prayer.
1 minute.
Is you get a little taste of the Knicks.
Yeah.
If they, Knicks, Celtics, does that matter? Celtics without Tatum, though. Knicks greater than Celtics without Tatum.
Yes.
For sure. Yeah. It feels like either one of those West teams. To me, it feels like either one of the West teams, and I know Denver's still in it, too. My guess is Denver wins tonight.
I think that could be a fun Western Conference Finals, though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
those games will be good. It's just going to be brands you're not used to seeing, which is sometimes a good thing. All right, Next Level is coming up next. We are back tomorrow. Thanks for listening, buddy. Cleveland Browns Daily, presented by Bally Bet, sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns.